Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes in life, we hold on too tightly. We hold on to people, to memories, to situations that no longer serve us. We keep carrying the weight, thinking just maybe, it will get better. But let me tell you something. Not everything is meant to stay. Some people are only chapters in your story, not the whole book. Not everyone is meant to stay in your life. This one sentence holds the weight of many broken hearts, sleepless nights, and lessons that life teaches us when we least expect it. We grow up thinking that the people we love will always walk beside us, that the bonds we create will last forever. But the reality of life is different. People come and people go. Some stay for a season, some for a reason, and very few for a lifetime. Holding on to everyone, expecting permanence from every connection, only brings pain because life was never designed to work that way. When someone walks into your life, they bring along joy, laughter, and sometimes even pain. They shape you, they influence your thoughts, and they add chapters to your story. But not every chapter is meant to last until the end. Some people are like short poems in the middle of a long novel. Their presence teaches you something. Their absence teaches you even more. If we learn to accept that not every person is permanent, we save ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Think about the tree in autumn. Its leaves fall one by one. The tree doesn't beg the leaves to stay. It doesn't cry when the branches become empty. The tree knows spring will come again. The tree knows that losing something is part of the cycle of gaining something new. In the same way, when people leave, it is not always a tragedy. It can be a preparation for growth, for strength, for a new beginning that we can't yet see. We often confuse letting go with failure. We feel as if losing someone means we were not enough, that we did something wrong, that we are incomplete without them. But the truth is, letting go is not about losing. It is about recognizing that the role they had in your life has been fulfilled. Maybe they came to teach you love, maybe to teach you patience, maybe to break you so you could rebuild yourself stronger. Whatever the reason, their exit is not your weakness. It is life's way of moving you forward. The more you try to hold on to people who are not meant to stay, the heavier your journey becomes. Imagine walking with a bag full of stones. Every person you cannot release becomes one of those stones. At first you think you can carry it, but with time, your shoulders ache, your steps slow down, your energy fades. Life is the same. To walk freely, to move towards your future, you must lighten the load. You must be brave enough to put down the stones, to let go of the people who no longer walk in harmony with you. Sometimes we stay attached because of memories, the laughter, the late night talks, the comfort of their presence. It all feels too precious to release. But memories are not chains. They can live in your heart without tying your soul. You can remember someone with gratitude without dragging them into your tomorrow. You can cherish what was without sacrificing what can be. This is the art of living, holding memories gently, not tightly, and opening your arms for the future. Not everyone is meant to stay, and that is a blessing in disguise. If everyone stayed, we would never learn resilience. We would never know how strong we are. We would never value those rare souls who truly belong in our lives. The departures make the arrivals more meaningful. The empty spaces remind us to treasure the ones who do stay. Letting go creates space for growth. This is one of those truths that sounds simple when spoken but feels heavy when practiced. We are human, and as humans, we hold on to people, hold on to habits, hold on to identities that once gave us comfort but now chain us down. We carry relationships long after their purpose has ended. We cling to jobs that drain us. We repeat routines that no longer serve us, only because letting go feels like stepping into the unknown. Yet the unknown is often the very place where growth begins. When your hands are full of the old, how can they ever be open to receive the new? Imagine a garden where the soil is never cleared. Old weeds, dry leaves, and broken branches cover the ground. No matter how much you water it, no matter how much sunlight it receives, the garden will not flourish because the space is taken. Now imagine clearing that soil, removing what no longer belongs, making room for seeds to be planted. Growth begins not by adding more, but by letting go of what no longer serves. Life works in the same way. If you want growth, you must first create space, and space is only created through release. We often resist this release because of fear of loneliness, fear of regret, fear that if we let go, nothing better will come. But growth never lives in fear. It lives in courage. Courage is when you choose to believe that what lies ahead can be greater than what lies behind. Courage is when you loosen your grip and trust that empty space is not emptiness. It is potential. The very room you create by letting go becomes the foundation for something new to enter. Letting go also means making peace with change. Change is uncomfortable. It shakes our stability. It makes us question ourselves. But think about a butterfly. A butterfly cannot exist unless the caterpillar lets go of its old form. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar is broken down completely. Yet from that breaking comes transformation. In the same way, when we release what has expired in our lives, we go through discomfort, but from that discomfort emerges growth that we could never imagine while holding on. Many times, people think growth is about collecting experiences, achievements, connection. But true growth is just as much about subtracting. It is about clearing toxic relationships that drain your peace. It is about walking away from environments where your soul feels small. It is about releasing the weight of mistakes that keep you tied to the past. Every act of letting go is an act of making space, and every space invites something better, something higher, something more aligned with who you are becoming. The beauty of letting go is that it teaches you trust. Trust in yourself, trust in time, trust in the process of life. When you let go of something familiar, you step into uncertainty, and in that uncertainty, you discover your strength. You learn to rely not on what you cling to, but on what lives within you. That inner strength becomes the root of your growth. And then slowly, you notice the changes. You feel lighter. You breathe easier. You see opportunities that were once hidden behind the walls of what you refused to release. You meet people who bring you peace because you finally had the space to welcome them. You take risks you never dared to because your hands are no longer busy holding what was never meant for you. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. We live in a world where people often confuse self-care with arrogance, where taking time for your own well-being is seen as neglecting others. From childhood, many of us are taught to put others first, to sacrifice, to give even when our own cup is empty. But the truth is that you cannot give what you do not have. When you ignore yourself, when you silence your needs, when you always put yourself last, eventually you break. And when you break, you cannot truly be there for anyone else either. Focusing on yourself is not about turning your back on people. It is about building the strength to stand firmly, so that when you do show up for others, you do it with love and wholeness instead of exhaustion. Think of it like a lamp. A lamp can only light a room if it has oil or electricity. Without that, no matter how beautiful the lamp is, it remains dark. In the same way, if you don't focus on yourself, your health, your growth, your peace, you cannot shine light into anyone else's life. The lamp is not selfish for needing oil. It is natural. You are not selfish for needing time to heal, to rest, to dream. You are human. and humans cannot thrive while running on empty. When you begin to focus on yourself, you learn the art of listening to your own heart. So many voices surround us every day: family, friends, society, social media, telling us who to be, what to do, how to live. In all this noise, we forget our own voice. We forget what truly matters to us. But when you pause and choose yourself, you hear that voice again. It tells you what makes you happy, what drains you, what dreams are calling you. That inner voice is the most honest guide you will ever have. But you can only hear it when you are brave enough to focus inward. There is also a strength that comes with self-focus. So people may come and go, opportunities may rise and fall, but the relationship you have with yourself remains constant. If you nurture it, if you respect it, you create stability inside you that no storm can shake. It is like building a home within your soul, a place of safety that no one can take away. This inner home is built with self-respect, with boundaries, with care. Every time you choose yourself instead of pleasing others at the cost of your own peace, you add another brick to this home. And the stronger this home becomes, the more unshakable you feel in a world that is always changing. Focusing on yourself also teaches others how to treat you. When you value your time, people learn not to waste it. When you honor your boundaries, people learn to respect them. When you treat yourself with love, people begin to mirror that love. You set the standard for how others engage with you. If you neglect yourself, you silently give permission for others to neglect you too. But when you show that you honor your worth, you inspire others to do the same. It is important to understand that focusing on yourself is not about cutting everyone out or living in isolation. It is about balance. It is about recognizing that you cannot pour endlessly without refilling. It is about knowing that giving to yourself is not taking away from others. It is actually ensuring that what you give to them comes from a place of fullness. When you are whole, your relationships improve, your work improves, your perspective improves. Everything in your life rises when you rise. And one of the most beautiful parts of focusing on yourself is the discovery that happens along the way. You discover strengths you didn't know you had, passions you had buried, dreams you thought were impossible. You begin to see yourself not as someone constantly chasing approval, but as someone who is enough, worthy, and capable. This shift changes everything: the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you live. It gives you freedom, it gives you clarity, it gives you peace. Forgive for your own peace, not theirs. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as something you give to others, as if you are doing a favor to the one who hurt you. But the truth is, forgiveness is not about setting them free. It is about setting yourself free. Holding on to anger, resentment, and bitterness feels like carrying fire in your hands while expecting the other person to burn. You walk around with that fire, but it is you who gets scorched every day. Forgiveness is the act of putting that fire down, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. When someone wrongs us, the wound is real. Pretending it doesn't hurt, pretending it doesn't matter, only buries the pain deeper. And buried pain has a way of growing like roots, twisting into our thoughts, shaping our behavior, and coloring our perspective. Every time you remember the hurt, it reopens the wound. You may find yourself reliving the betrayal, replaying the conversations, imagining what you could have said or done differently. But in truth, no amount of replaying changes the past. Forgiveness is the moment you decide that the past no longer controls your present. Forgiving does not mean forgetting. It does not mean you excuse the wrong. It does not mean you allow the same behavior again. And it does not mean you have to welcome the person back into your life. Forgiveness is not reconciliation, it is release. It is the decision to stop letting the hurt dictate your peace of mind. When you forgive, you are not saying what happened was okay. You are saying you will no longer allow what happened to poison your future. That distinction is important. Because many resist forgiveness thinking it is weakness, when in reality it is one of the greatest forms of strength. Peace comes when you choose yourself over your pain. The mind cannot be free while carrying grudges. Every grudge is like a chain, and the more grudges you collect, the heavier your spirit feels. You cannot run forward if you are chained to yesterday. Forgiveness is the act of breaking those chains one by one. The moment you let go of resentment, you notice how much lighter your soul feels. You find space for joy, for calmness, for growth, because bitterness no longer occupies every corner of your heart. Forgiveness is also a form of self-respect. When you refuse to forgive, the person who hurt you continues to live rent-free in your thoughts. They may go on with their life, unaware of the storm inside you, while you keep reliving their actions again and again. Why give them that power? Forgiveness is taking your power back. It is saying, you do not get to control my mood, my nights, my energy anymore. That power belongs to me, and I choose peace. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. We often carry guilt for years, punishing ourselves for choices we made when we didn't know better, blaming ourselves for trusting the wrong person, for staying too long, for leaving too soon. Self-forgiveness is not easy, because the voice inside is harsher than any critic outside. But without forgiving yourself, peace will always be incomplete. You are human, and being human means making mistakes, learning and growing. Forgiving yourself is allowing yourself to move forward without carrying the weight of shame. The process of forgiveness is gradual. It doesn't happen overnight. Some days you feel free, other days the anger resurfaces. That is part of healing. Forgiveness is not a single moment. It is a practice. Each time you feel the pain rise, you choose again to release it. And with each choice, your heart grows softer, your mind grows calmer, and your soul grows lighter. Eventually, the memories lose their sharpness. The wound becomes a scar, and the scar becomes a story of resilience instead of a source of pain. Heal your heart before you give it away. Too often, we rush into giving pieces of ourselves to others, while we are still carrying wounds that have not been addressed. We think love will fix us, that relationships will heal what life has broken, that another person's presence will cover the scars we hide. But when you hand over a heart that is bleeding, you are not offering love, you are offering pain wrapped in love's disguise. Healing is not just a responsibility you owe yourself, it is also an act of kindness to those you allow close to you. An unhealed heart seeks validation, clings too tightly, fears abandonment, and creates patterns of hurt that repeat again and again. Healing your heart begins with honesty. It means admitting that you are hurting, admitting that certain experiences left you scarred, admitting that you are not as strong as you pretend to be. This honesty can feel uncomfortable because it strips away the masks we wear to convince the world that everything is fine. No wound ever healed by being hidden. A wound heals when it is seen, when it is cleaned, when it is cared for. The same is true for the heart. When you acknowledge your pain, you give yourself permission to start the process of healing. Healing is also about forgiveness, not just forgiving others for what they did, but also forgiving yourself for what you allowed, for what you tolerated, for what you didn't know then but have learned now. Carrying guilt and regret is like carrying heavy stones in your chest. They weigh you down, they stop you from breathing freely. They remind you of every mistake as if you are not allowed to move forward. But forgiveness is like putting those stones down one by one. It does not erase the past, but it frees you from being chained to it. With every act of forgiveness, your heart becomes lighter, stronger, softer. When you take time to heal, you also learn boundaries. A broken heart often struggles to say no. It often fears rejection. It often believes that being needed is the same as being loved. But a healed heart knows its worth. It knows that saying no is not cruelty, it is protection. It knows that love is not proven by suffering, but by respect and balance. Boundaries become easier to create when your heart is whole because you no longer confuse self-sacrifice with love. You recognize that guarding your peace is an act of self-respect, and those who truly care will never ask you to abandon it. Healing is not quick, and it is not linear. Some days you feel free, some days the memories return like waves. But even in this rhythm there is progress. Every step you take toward understanding yourself, toward nurturing your soul, toward finding peace in your own company, is a step toward healing. You may not notice it day by day, but one morning you will wake up and realize the ache has softened, the anger has faded, and the fear has loosened its grip. That is the quiet miracle of healing. It happens slowly, then suddenly. When your heart is healed, the love you give transforms. It is no longer desperate, no longer tied to fear of loss, no longer dependent on someone else's approval. It becomes steady, peaceful, generous. You give not because you are empty, but because you are. You love not because you need someone to complete you, but because you already feel whole within yourself. A healed heart creates healthy connections, because it is no longer seeking to be rescued. It knows its value, and it invites others to walk alongside, not to carry its broken. Self-love is the best investment. Many people spend their entire lives investing in everything except themselves. They pour energy into relationships, into careers, into material possessions, always hoping that external success or approval will finally bring them peace. But the truth is, nothing on the outside can truly fill the emptiness that comes from neglecting yourself on the inside. When you learn to love yourself, you are not just making a choice for today, you are making an investment for every day that follows. It is the foundation on which your happiness, your resilience, and your growth are built. Self-love is not arrogance, it is acceptance. It is looking in the mirror and saying, I am enough as I am. It is forgiving yourself for mistakes that you cannot change. It is refusing to measure your value by the standards of others. It is allowing yourself to rest when you are tired, to say no when something does not serve you, to dream without apologizing for it. Self-love is giving yourself the kindness you freely give to others, but so often withhold from yourself. It is not about thinking you are perfect. It is about knowing you are worthy even with imperfections. When you invest in self-love, you build strength that carries you through life's challenges. A person who does not love themselves seeks constant validation from others. And when that validation disappears, they crumble. But a person who has nurtured self-love can stand even in silence, even without applause, because their sense of worth does not depend on outside voices. That stability is priceless, because life will always have critics, failures, and rejections. If your foundation is external, it will shake with every storm. If your foundation is self-love, no storm can destroy it. Self-love also changes the way you allow others to treat you. When you respect yourself, you do not tolerate disrespect. When you value your time, you do not waste it on people who drain you. When you believe in your worth, you do not settle for less than you deserve. This does not mean you become hard or kind. It means you draw boundaries that protect your peace. And boundaries built on self-love are not walls that keep people out. They are gates that allow the right people in, while keeping harm away. Investing in self-love also nurtures your growth. You begin to take care of your body, not because you want to look like someone else, but because you value your health. You pursue your dreams, not because you need to prove something to the world, but because your soul feels alive when you do. You spend time alone, not because you are avoiding people, but because you enjoy your own company. These choices, repeated daily, shape a life where fulfillment is no longer borrowed from others, but grown within yourself. The returns on this investment show up in the smallest moment. When you fail, You do not collapse in shame. You remind yourself that mistakes are lessons. When someone leaves, you do not lose yourself. You remind yourself that you are still whole. When life tests you, you do not surrender to despair. You remind yourself that you have survived before, and you can survive again. Self-love is the steady voice inside that keeps you moving when everything outside tries to stop you. And perhaps the most beautiful part of self-love is that it overflows. When you truly love yourself, you love others better. You give without resentment. You support without losing yourself. You listen without needing to be validated in return. Because your cup is full, your giving is pure. This is why self-love is never selfish. It is the root of every healthy relationship, every act of kindness, every dream pursued with courage. The more you invest in yourself, the more you have to offer to the world. Those meant for you will never leave you confused. Real connections are not built on mixed signals, half-truths, or constant doubt. When someone truly belongs in your life, their presence brings clarity, not chaos. You do not have to keep guessing where you stand. You do not have to beg for attention. You do not have to live in the tension of unanswered questions. Confusion is often a sign that something is not aligned, that the energy between you and them is unbalanced, and that their role in your journey may not be permanent. Love, friendship, support, when genuine, do not leave you restless, they bring peace. So many people waste years trying to decode the behavior of those who only give them fragments of themselves. They analyze every word, every silence, every action, hoping to find reassurance in places that never offer it. This endless confusion drains the soul, because deep down the truth is already known. If someone values you, they will show it. If someone wants you in their life, you will not need to chase them. Consistency is not complicated. It does not require games, manipulation, or uncertainty. Those who are truly meant for you will never make you feel like an option. They will make you feel like a choice. Confusion often comes from holding on to potential instead of reality. You see what someone could be, how they might change, how things might improve if only circumstances were different. But living on potential keeps you trapped and waiting, not living. Those who are meant for you will not require you to constantly imagine a better version of them. Their actions will already reflect their care. They will not leave you guessing, because their words and actions will match. Clarity is not something you should have to beg for. It is the natural outcome of genuine connection. Life becomes lighter when you understand this truth, instead of questioning yourself endlessly. Did I do something wrong? Did I say too much? Am I not enough? You start realizing that the right people do not put you in that position. They reassure without being asked. They show up without needing reminders. They make space for you without excuses. You stop chasing and start observing. With time, you learn that confusion is not a test you need to pass. It is a signal you need to listen to. It is important to remember that people who are unsure about you are not necessarily bad. They are just not meant for your path. Everyone is fighting their own battles, carrying their own insecurities, and sometimes their inability to offer clarity has more to do with them than with you. But that does not mean you should stay in the shadows of their uncertainty. You deserve connections that bring peace, not anxiety. You deserve relationships where your presence is not questioned, but cherished. The moment you accept this, you begin to attract people who value your clarity as much as you value theirs. Confusion is heavy, but clarity is healing. Think about how it feels when someone looks at you and says exactly what they mean, when their actions leave no room for doubt, when you feel secure in their presence. That security allows you to grow, to dream, to give freely without fear. The right people do not just occupy space in your life. They create an environment where your soul can breathe. That kind of presence cannot be faked, and it cannot be forced. It is either there or it isn't. Those who are meant for you will never hide behind silence. never make you chase answers that should be freely given, never keep you questioning your worth. Their consistency will become your assurance. Their loyalty will become your calm. Their presence will become your proof. And when you finally experience that kind of clarity, you will wonder why you ever settled for confusion in the first place. Work on your dreams, not their approval. Too often, people spend their lives chasing applause instead of purpose. We are taught to look over our shoulders, to wonder what others will say, to measure our success by the claps we receive. But the danger of living this way is that you never truly live for yourself. You become a performer on a stage built by other people's opinions, adjusting your every move to satisfy the audience. And the truth is, no matter how hard you try, not everyone will clap for you. Some will criticize, some will doubt, some will ignore. If you tie your motivation to their approval, you will always be a prisoner to their judgment. Dreams, on the other hand, are deeply personal. They are whispers of your soul, calling you towards something greater. Your dreams are not given to anyone else. They are given to you, because only you have the heart, the vision, and the capacity to bring them to life. When you shift your focus from seeking approval to building your dream, you begin to live with clarity. You stop asking, will they like it? And start asking, does this fulfill me? Does this align with who I am becoming? That shift is where real progress begins. Working on your dreams requires courage because it often means walking a path that others may not understand. People will question you. They will warn you. They will project their own fears onto you. Some will even laugh at you. But remember, their lack of belief in your dream is not proof of its impossibility. It is proof of their limitation. You were not born to live their vision. You were born to live your own. Every great achievement in history was once laughed at, doubted, and dismissed until it was finally accomplished. The difference between those who succeeded and those who didn't was simple. They worked on their dreams without waiting for approval. Approval is temporary, but fulfillment is lasting. The applause of others may feel good in the moment, but it fades quickly. People forget, their attention shifts, and if you build your worth on that applause, you will always need more to feel complete. But when you work on your dreams, the sense of purpose you create stays with you, whether anyone notices or not. That is the beauty of inner fulfillment. It cannot be taken away because it comes from within, not from the outside world. There will be times when you feel discouraged, when progress is slow, when doubt creeps in. In those moments, seeking approval becomes even more dangerous because it distracts you from the real work. You may start bending your dream to fit what others expect, trimming its edges to make it more acceptable, reshaping it until it no longer looks like what your heart imagined. But a deluded dream is no dream at all. Protect it, nurture it, work on it in silence if you have to. Let your results speak louder than your explanations. When you dedicate yourself to your dream, you begin to discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. You find resilience in failure, creativity in challenges, strength in solitude. These discoveries are rewards that no amount of approval could ever replace. They are the building blocks of your growth, the proof that your journey is worth it. Even if no one claps, even if no one notices, the fact that you are becoming more of who you were meant to be is victory enough. Living for approval means living small, but living for your dream means living true. You cannot serve both at the same time. Every time you choose your dream over their opinion, you take one step closer to freedom. Every time you pour effort into your purpose rather than their praise, you add another brick to the foundation of your future. And one day the same people who doubted you may admire what you've built, but by then, their approval will no longer matter, because you will already know your worth lies in the work, not in the applause. Your worth is not defined by others. From a very young age, most of us are taught to measure ourselves through the eyes of those around us. We wait for praise from parents, approval from teachers, acceptance from friends, and later, validation from society. Somewhere in this endless cycle of seeking recognition, we forget to ask ourselves the most important question: what do I think of me? The danger of allowing others to define your worth is that their opinions change, their moods shift, their expectations grow, and if you tie your value to them, you will always live like a leaf in the wind, tossed here and there without direction. Your worth is not in how many people like you, follow you, or talk about you. Numbers do not measure the depth of your soul. You are not more valuable when you are praised, and not less valuable when you are criticized. A diamond is still a diamond even if no one notices it lying in the dirt. In the same way, your worth is constant, even if others fail to see it. The opinions of others are reflections of their own perspective, not an ultimate truth about who you are. It is easy to fall into the trap of chasing approval. When someone compliments us, we feel lifted, and when someone criticizes us, we feel shattered. This constant up and down leaves us powerless, like a puppet whose strings are pulled by everyone else. True freedom begins when you cut those strings and decide that your value is not up for debate. You are worthy simply because you exist, because you are human, because you carry within you a unique soul that no one else has. That truth does not require confirmation from anyone. Think about the sun. It shines every day, whether people look up to appreciate it or not. Sometimes clouds cover it, sometimes storms hide it, but the sun does not stop shining because of temporary shadows. Your worth is the same. Just because someone fails to see your light does not mean it has disappeared. Temporary circumstances, temporary judgments, temporary misunderstandings cannot erase your permanent value. When you stop measuring yourself by others, you begin to find strength within. You start noticing your own growth, your own kindness, your own courage. You appreciate the little victories that no one claps for. You celebrate the quiet progress that no one else notices. This is the kind of validation that lasts, because it comes from within. It does not fade when people change. It does not disappear when applause stops. It stays with you because it is rooted in truth, not opinion. Sometimes people project their insecurities onto you. They might call you not enough, too much, or undeserving. But what they say often reflects their own wounds, not your reality. If you accept their words as truth, you shrink yourself to fit into the small box of their perception. But when you know your worth, their words lose power. You can listen without absorbing. You can understand without internalizing. You can walk away without guilt. Knowing your worth gives you the courage to stand tall even when the world tries to bend you. Your worth is also not defined by what you achieve. Achievements are beautiful, but they are not the foundation of your value. Success may add to your story. Failure may slow your journey, but neither changes the fact that you are valuable regardless of outcomes. You are not your job. You are not your status. You are not your mistakes. You are more than titles, more than roles, more than what society labels you as. You are worthy in the stillness of your being, even when you are doing nothing at all.